if we look at the alveoli, draw an alveolus here, what we will notice is that the alveolus is surrounded by an epithelium. So we'll just sort of draw an epithelium here. Right? And there are two different types of cells that we talk about. There is what we refer to as a type 1 alveolar cell, and that is just a sort of normal epithelial cell, a simple squamous epithelial cell that surrounds the alveolus. Then there are what we refer to as type 2 alveolar cells. And type 2 alveolar cells are going to secrete something known as surfactant. Okay, they are going to secrete surfactant. So why is that important? Well, if we look at the alveolus, there is an aqueous layer that sort of surrounds the inside of the alveolus, like so. Okay? And this aqueous layer is known as the hypophase. The hypophase. All right? And it's made of water, right? It's an aqueous layer. And so what happens is air comes in here and it sort of pushes this alveolus away and sort of opens it up. Now, inside of here, there are water molecules, right? H2O. And we know that water is a polar molecule, right? And so there will be interactions between individual water molecules, right? Those are the hydrogen interactions, right? Hydrogen bonds. And that's what creates surface tension of water. So all of these water molecules are sort of going to want to pull towards each other. So when they do that, right, these water molecules are going to want to pull this alveolus closed, because what it wants to do is it wants to minimize the spaces in between the waters, and the way that it does so is by minimizing this total sort of distance or area, right? So it's going to sort of want to recoil that alveolus. Now, if it does so, and it does so forcefully, what can happen is that the alveolus will almost collapse on itself, so that the water molecules over here will start to interact with the water molecules over here, like so. And if that happens, this alveolus collapses on itself and becomes very, very difficult to break the surface tension in those water molecules, right, and open that alveolus back up. That's not good, because we need that alveolus in order to participate in gas exchange. So what happens is that these type 2 alveolar cells secrete a molecule known as surfactant. And what the surfactant does is it prevents those hydrogen interactions between the water molecules, right? And so what that does is it limits this force on the elastic recoil of the alveolus. So that surfactant then will sort of prevent this interaction here, right? And so what that does then is it decreases the force sort of pushing in that direction. And remember, we had a force pushing in this direction, which was our transpulmonary pressure, right? And our pressure that way caused by our air. And that's what sort of dictated the overall compliance, right? So our surfactant, by preventing these interactions, allows the lung to expand a little bit more, which means that surfactant is important in the distensibility, the stretchiness of the lungs, which we call compliance. So surfactant is important in lung compliance.